show, The Starting Lineup. And now for your hosts, Joe Abraham and Chewy.
And good morning, and welcome into the Starting Lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT, Winchester. I am Joe Abraham, and it is a Mayhem Monday. We welcome you in alongside Chewy. Good morning. How are you today, my friend?
I'm all right. I'm enjoying the weather. It's a little rainy and chilly outside.
Yeah, just a little bit. I was worried that you might get blown away in the storm last night.
Nah, I'm good. I made it in.
Well,
I'm a big guy.
The other person I was worried that might get blown away in the storm last night is our guest with us, joining us this morning from Results Physiotherapy, Miss Samantha.
Inspired.
I worked there before.
What am I doing? You know why I had that on my head or on my mind was because there was somebody that I met over the weekend who told me that they were going, and I said to them, no, you're going to the wrong one.
They're both physiotherapy. That is where I actually started off my career. Yeah.
That's so Inspired Physiotherapy. Thank you, Miss Samantha Canup, who at least I get your name right this morning.
Solid.
So Miss Samantha over there at Inspired Physiotherapy, which is located over by Walmart, for people who don't know, in the corner there of that Walmart shopping plaza. And each and every third Monday of the month, you come in and you're one of our industry experts here on the show. And one of the great things about what you do and what you bring to the table for us as an industry expert is that if there is something kind of timely going on, or something that maybe in the news, whatever the case is, you have the ability to come in and kind of address things like that and talk to those things. So what I would like to recommend to folks who are jumping in the FMO Facebook feed this morning, here's the problem. I got too many names of things to keep up with. No, if you're jumping in the FMO Facebook feed this morning and you have any specific questions for Miss Samantha Canup this morning on the show, feel free to drop them in there, and we can ask them to her directly. And they can be questions that you might have about something that's going on in your life. They can be questions that maybe are something that you saw in the news, whatever they might be. Now, I don't recommend that they use those as the be-all, end-all. It's always best for folks to come in and actually see you guys over there at Inspired.
But anytime you get to learn, or like just be able to ask questions on like, hey, is this even something that physical therapy can help with? Like, sometimes that knowledge is just super helpful. Yeah.
So to get started this morning, in it's not just, as far as the industry experts are concerned, it's not just that you come in on the third Monday of the month. You actually present us with an article that we put up over at 931go.com each and every month. And this month, the article is about fall prevention. Yeah. And a lot of people who may not realize, when you've got an older, not just an older adult, but when you've got an older adult in your life, that's something to be extremely aware of.
Yes.
I was a part of Rotary a few years back, Chewy, the one up in Tullahoma. And I was the youngest person in Rotary by about 40 years at the time. And they actually had somebody in who came in and they talked about falls. And I did not realize how many elderly folks dealt with falls, and it actually was like one of the leading causes of death and things like that in elderly individuals.
Yeah, that's why it's just so important for everybody to actually talk about too, because it's something that you just kind of like hear and you sometimes gets brushed off, but you don't realize how impactful it is. And like when somebody gets to the point of like having a fear of falling, or like truly at the spot where they're like, hey, I'm stumbling, hey, I'm actually falling now, like they're losing part of their independence. So it's like, how long can we keep you as independent as possible and keeping all the things that you love to do to yourself, rather than your son or daughter coming to you and being like, hey, like, I think it's time I take your keys. Like, nobody wants to hear that. Like, as a kid and your parent telling you, like, you're grounded or something, they're taking something away, that's one thing. But as an adult and your kids now having to come and talk to you, or your doctor having to talk to you and saying, hey, you can't do X, Y, and Z anymore because you're just not safe enough.
Right.
Or like, hey, like, you need to be using a walker or a cane, like, the majority of people are not for it. Now, if they get to a point that they're like, this is the only reason that I'm not falling, usually there's a little bit more buy-in. But, I mean, that's just not something anybody's like, oh, I'm super excited to get to this point in my life where I have to worry about these things. Well,
and, I mean, speaking of that, I mean, what are some of the early warning signs? Because there's a difference between falling. Like Chewy, not Chewy specifically, but Chewy's girlfriend, Tori, she falls over everything. She trips and falls. She falls all the time. But there's a difference between somebody maybe who just falls versus when do you have to kind of be aware that this is a little bit more than that.
Right. Like, definitely I have plenty of people in my life who are like, they're just a little more clumsy. Like, they're just more fall prone. But usually whenever they do stumble or something, like, they pop back up and they're like, all right, I'm good. Like, when they get up off the ground, they can do it independently and they don't have to have anything around them.
Right.
Like, if you have somebody that's like, hey, like, I have trouble getting onto the ground and back up, or I have to sit to put my socks and shoes on and things like that. Whenever you notice that somebody's toe is starting to like catch on things, so like stepping over an object at home isn't happening, like we have to walk around it, or we are furniture surfing. So like if you're basically holding on to the wall at home, or you're using the couch or the chairs to help you walk through your house, like those are signs that like somebody in your family could see and be like, oh, like that might not be great. Or, you know, that like they say like, oh, like I am stumbling like every night when I have to get up and go to the bathroom. It's like, okay, we might need to have like some kind of light out for you to be able to see what's going on there. But usually it ends up being like a lot of times when we see people, like it's a very generalized, just kind of like deconditioning and stamina, and like those things are taking place. But you also have people who have had a stroke, who it's like, hey, like we've had something neurologically happen, and so therefore you have more kind of hurdles to jump through. Like not only do you have weakness on one side of your body, but there can also be a little bit more of like where you have difficulty understanding what somebody's saying, or you have difficulty finding your words to be able to communicate, or it has affected like your vision and things like that. So there's a lot that can happen. Right. And then that just a lot that you have to take in to make sure that you are giving that patient everything that they need. So there's other,
so there's other signs outside of just how they're ambulating.
Yeah. Yes, they're gating their ambulation.
Wow.
Yeah,
there's other signs, like you were saying about the speech and other things like that can translate in different ways. Those struggles can translate in different ways. Yeah. Now, in the article, you say that the fear of falling can be just as limiting as the fall itself. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so like we see it in athletes, right? So like whenever they have had an injury and they are fearful of that happening again, and they can't just go back in 100%, like they're almost holding themselves back, they're at an increased risk of having that injury again. So same thing with older adults, like if you're having, or just somebody who's at a risk of falling in general, like if you are kind of watching your feet whenever you're walking, you're shortening your stride. Right. So like whenever you're fearful of it, you're going to do things that you feel like are going to help you. But usually those things end up making you a higher risk for falling again. So like if you're shortening your gait, or you're kind of like just shuffling your feet, well, you're trying to stay as close to the ground as you can, but that shuffling leads to a fall. Right. Or that like narrowed base of support like decreases like your balance and everything like that. So it's one of those, you want to be as natural as you can be and have to think as little as possible. If you were thinking about the way that you walk, like everybody should try it and try to think like, oh, I'm going to do this and then this and then this and then I'm going to walk. It is extremely hard. So whenever you get to the point that you have to work with somebody who's like had a spinal cord injury and you're like breaking down the steps of walking, like our brain is not made to process every single little step. And so it's very difficult. So whenever you get into that with like in the clinic with somebody, 1 to 2 cues is usually best instead of trying to do everything.
Well, and sorry, go ahead.
Well, it was like, so you're not just resurrecting like the ability; it's also the confidence in the stride a little bit.
Yes, you definitely. The confidence is like a huge part of it. Like if somebody can actually be confident, they're like, you can see in their eyes that they're like, I'm getting this. You know they're going to be more confident whenever they get home.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you also talk about in the article that there are the 3 different systems of your body, which, like, I didn't realize that there was so much to walking.
Right. That's what makes my job so much fun. It's always a puzzle.
So, well, and that brings me to the point of your job is, you know, you talk about the vestibular.
So like your inner ear system. Yeah.
And then you've got vision, and then you got the
proprioception.
Proprioception.
Yeah. Okay. So Justin, my husband, read this last night, and he was like, "All right, Sam. So like these 3, this is probably where you're going to lose people." I was like, "Yeah, but I'll be able to explain it, so it'll be okay."
Yeah.
Because it's one of those. It's like, so it's the feeling through your feet, pretty much, is proprioception. Like in the basic form.
Kind of like sensing the ground around things around you.
Like just being able to like feel. So like when people have what's called neuropathy, or like somebody with diabetes has polyneuropathy, and they lose that feeling in their feet.
Right.
That is taking away part of what's helping them to balance.
Right.
So then you have to now really use your vestibular system, so that inner ear system, and your vision to almost compensate for that lack of proprioceptive awareness.
Right.
So like that ends up being sometimes like we're not just like training somebody in strength. Sometimes we're trying to overtrain 2 other systems, or really teach them like, hey, you need to be using these systems a little bit more to help you with your balance.
Samantha Knupp of Inspired Physiotherapy with us in studio this morning. And this is an important conversation because I think that a lot of our demographic has maybe adults in their life that could be fall into this demographic, not to, excuse the pun. But that all being said, so okay, you've got somebody who maybe is at risk for falling or has become more prone to. How can you guys over at Inspired Physiotherapy help folks? Like, how does physical therapy help folks when it comes to walking?
Yeah. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to narrow it down to like, what does this patient actually need? Like, what does this specific person need? Because obviously we can say that like there's a million things that we could work on. Like everything can change. So we're going to figure out what's going on with that person. So there's times that I'll work with somebody and it's like, I think we're truly just deconditioned. So we'll do some tests. So we do some fall risk tests usually, so we can actually see something objectively change. So one that's also like for the patient to be able to see like, hey, this is getting better. But then also for documentation-wise and insurance, they like these tests too. So like there's times that we do something as simple as like a 30-second like sit-to-stand test. So we literally will just have them sit to stand for as many times as they can within 30 seconds. And sometimes that ends up being like once or twice. And
that would be Chewy.
Yeah. I'll do it once.
You can use your hands. It's totally okay. So, like, we'll do that, and so then we'll retest that. But if it just ends up being somebody that's truly just deconditioned and we just need to strengthen, like, we're going to work on muscle groups that are going to help with, like, foot clearance. So, like, you want to make sure you're working on the front part of your shin to be able to lift your toe up. We're going to work on your hip flexors to make sure you can clear your foot over something. But then we're also just going to work on your cardio and just making sure that you can stand for longer periods of time. You can transition without help. But then there's other people that will need to look more at those balance systems specifically. So, like, we'll do something as simple as, like, a cat sit test. So you have somebody stand with their feet together on a firm ground, eyes open, and you see what their balance is like. And then you're going to take their vision away and have them close their eyes while they're standing on firm ground. That tests 2 different systems, but then you're also going to add foam in. And then that's when you get to your vestibular system. So, like, if you're standing on foam and you close your eyes, now we're only challenging, in theory, like one system. So then we'll be able to like navigate which way their exercises will go based on what we're finding.
Well, and you addressed this in the article as well, but, getting older is tough enough with, systems in your body failing and things like that. But then you add in some of the medications and other things like that that might cause dizziness and other things. So really what it sounds like is you guys are kind of retraining or working with folks to develop that confidence and just kind of strengthen the systems around their ability to walk, because what I think tends to be the case from what it sounds like is as people maybe start to struggle, they adjust their lifestyle and how they do things, which actually is counterintuitive
Right.
to what they're trying to avoid. They're trying to avoid the fall, so they're being more careful, so they're shuffling. So now they're all like basically their agility and all the other systems are starting to go down. And you're like, no, let's get away from that.
Yeah, because once you don't use it, you lose
Right.
it, right? So like you have to use it again to be able to like help with those things.
Mind blown.
Right on track.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if folks are concerned maybe that and they've got an older adult in their life, or maybe they're one of the people who see themselves kind of making some of these adjustments like that, how would they go about reaching out to you guys and getting somebody in for a consultation or to talk and check on and kind of look into this for them?
Yeah, so this one is usually one that we're probably going to need an order from the doctor, more than likely just because of the insurances that are involved. So, like, if this ends up being an older individual, usually we have Medicare or Medicare Advantage plan or something like that, and that requires a referral from the doctor. So getting that will be great. And then, honestly, like, whenever people are able just to come in and talk to Rachel at the front and get set up, Caroline or I are able to come up and just be like, hey, like, this is like quick 5-minute, like, kind of like lowdown of what we can do. And I think that's helpful because also, like, not a ton of like our older population loves, not everybody, but like I have a lot of people who come in, they're like, I don't want to do my paperwork online and I don't want to try to find you online. They're like, just let me call or let me come in. I'm like, cool, that sounds great. And so like people drop in all the time to just get set up rather than calling or trying to find us online. So
well, and this is just one of the many things that you guys can do over at Inspired that can help keep folks independent for longer. And I know that that's a challenge, especially in a lot of people's everyday lives. It's tough enough for me to manage my own stuff, much less having to worry about my parents and my kids and all the things, everybody else's stuff. And then you've got older adults as well who they want to maintain that independent, and they kind of fight back on it. And this is one of those things where, again, if you're doing the things to maintain that kind of independence, if it was my parents, for example, I would be more confident in allowing them to maintain their independence if they're going through and doing things to ensure kind of that they can.
Yeah.
As opposed to if I go over to their house and see them making these adjustments or seeing them changing the way that they walk as opposed to being proactive.
Yeah.
So you guys can help with not just walking, but what are some of the other things that you could help with as far as older individuals to maintain that level of independence?
Yeah, so there's also times that, I don't know if this is going to answer your question, but like it's what I thought of. So dizziness is also another big one that people will deal with that kind of steals that independence at times. And so sometimes that can be what's called vertigo. Yeah. Where basically, like if it's simply vertigo, like we're totally equipped to treat it in the clinic. But basically where like that little crystal in your inner ear system gets out of place. And so like it's in the wrong place. And like when you turn your head, you feel like the room is spinning. Or like when you lay down in bed, your room is spinning. Things like that. And so like that's a simple one where it's like, hey, like, yes, go to your doctor, make sure everything's okay, but like you can come in and we can try to treat that. And usually that can be like, if it's simply just vertigo, like 1 to 3 visits is usually like all you will need. Now there's times that people also are dealing with like they have a fall risk because they are also just deconditioned, so they haven't really been moving and using that system a lot. So like we'll retrain that, and that might be a little bit more visits. But yeah, so that's one that I know that we'll have people come in and they need to just address the dizziness, and then they can go back to their everyday life like normal again, because that one's awful. Like that is one that we will try to move our schedule around to make sure that we get to my end day of, because you just can't move your head well.
It's interesting that you say that, because my father's a big fisherman, and here as of late he's been joking about the fact that he thinks he's going to fall off the boat because he's started to deal with some vertigo. Now he's also diabetic. And he doesn't have a ton of neuropathy. He's got a little bit in his legs and stuff, but he's been starting to deal with this vertigo, and he's brought it up a couple of times to me. But I didn't realize that it was something that you could address, something that you could work on.
And sometimes that vertigo like term gets used very loosely, like to go with dizziness as well. But that's where we tease it out. We're like, hey, is this more dizziness or is this more of like a true vertigo symptom? And so like we have people send out all the time and they're like, hey, it's vertigo. And then they get in and I'm like, cool. Like unfortunately, we can't reproduce it in that way, but we can reproduce it in these other ways that are a little bit more towards
Right.
like dizziness or like cervicogenic dizziness and stuff like that. But
what
yeah.
is
Cervicogenic dizziness is like when dizziness is actually coming from structures in your neck. So like where you have like stiffness in the joints, or like there's some different muscles that can have trigger points in it that actually lead to a little bit more of that dizziness sensation.
Yeah.
And so you have to address that rather than the inner ear system as much.
Samantha Knupp of Inspired Physiotherapy with us in studio. Now, to wrap things up, I started off by saying that you were from Results Physiotherapy, which, to that point, you did work at Results,
Yeah.
and you have what I'd like to use that as is kind of a transition to the level of experience and knowledge that you have. Talk about your background a little bit and what led you to opening up Inspired here in town.
Yeah, so I worked for Results since I started 6 years ago, and so that was where I was kind of just like raised up in PT. But I started off in Hendersonville, Tennessee, worked there in a very large clinic, and then COVID happened. So I started in 2019, fall of 2019, 2020, COVID happened. So I got a lot of experience on telehealth. That was a really fun time in my career, but it truly taught me a lot. And then I ended up going over to Springfield within, I think after right before I'd hit 1 year of experience, I went over to Springfield and they needed a clinic director. And I was like, I never thought I would do this. But I was like, sure, go for it. Like, everything's up in the air now with COVID anyways. Like, let's do it. And so I went over to the Springfield location.
The world's going to end anyway. What's the difference?
Let's just go for it. That was when I truly learned, because I said I would never be a clinic director, and I'd say I'd never try to, like, partner or own my own business. And so, like, basically it's just parts of my life where God's just been like, ha, that's really funny.
Yeah.
Here we go. And so.
Nice plans.
Yeah, exactly. So I was a clinic director over at the Springfield Results for, was it 2.5 years? And that's when I started working with a little more pediatrics and more pelvic health. And so that's when I found my love for pelvic health, and I learned that I need to leave pediatrics to people who know a little bit more and are more specialized within like development delays and things like that. Like I can treat an ortho problem with the kiddo.
Right.
But like the development stuff, I think that needs somebody that has a little more passion for it and can dedicate more time towards it, where like I've dedicated time towards pelvic health.
Right.
And then I met my now husband, and so I knew I was going to move down here. So I moved down and came to this Results. But at that time, I just had friends from old like clinics that were like, hey, we're going to start up this new business. And I was like, awesome. That is awesome for you guys. And so that's where, cool, like I'm leaving, but like so glad for you guys. And so that's where Caroline, my coworker now, ended up going to work. And she was like, this is pretty cool. And I was like, awesome. And so that gave me just an opportunity that I wouldn't have had with other companies to kind of open something up down here, to where like you can kind of just have a little bit more autonomy with like what you want to do and how you want to treat patients and things like that. And so that's what ended up bringing Inspired to Winchester. So as far as that whole process goes and stuff, you guys have been open for just over a year now? Yeah, a little bit over a year. Like we opened up in December of 2024.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. How has it gone to this point?
It's gone really well. So it's one of those that's kind of exciting just to see something like formed from the ground up. Like Caroline and I like to joke about the fact that like everything that is in the clinic we truly put together.
Right.
And so like it's one of those, like I didn't just walk into a clinic and it was ready to go. Like I got to see it get built out, and I got to see the mold remediation and all the things. Like
you got to put the wheels on the little rolly carts and the things like that.
Yes. Yeah. So like if something didn't work, I was like, darn it, that's my fault. Now I gotta fix it. Thankfully we had a lot of help, but no, so that's been really great to see it from the ground up. But it's kind of cool to look at the numbers from last year to this year. Like it's cool to see how last year we were like seeing 30 patients in a week. So 30 visits within a week was a big deal. And now we're like, cool, like we're just trying to consistently break 100. So like,
wow.
It's one of those that's really, really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's tremendous. And again, for folks who maybe it's, and you guys deal with folks of all ages, from kids to older adults.
Yeah.
And if they have a question about something, if they want a consultation, you guys handle such a variety of things. How can they get in contact with you?
I would say, honestly, coming in and talking to Rachel is going to be great. You can also call us, but everybody, as long as you can find Raphael's, you can find us.
Yeah.
And usually people will drop by whenever they're going in just to at least say hi. So that, or we are on Facebook. So
I think the biggest thing that I've learned from our conversations over the last year or so is how, like I mentioned, how many different things, the variety of things that I did not even realize were stuff that you could handle. Today I learned that you can help with vertigo and dizziness symptoms. I've learned about the incontinence things that a lot of women deal with. And so let me stop too. As far as you guys and Results also uses the word physiotherapy.
Yeah.
What is physiotherapy? How is physiotherapy different, or what does that term really mean?
It's truly it's one of those, I think so Results was started by Australians. So every other country calls it physiotherapy besides us. Everybody here, we call it physical therapy. Everywhere else calls it physiotherapy.
Okay, so it's similar. It's a different term.
It's just, it's pretty much just a different term. It's one of those,
it's a cooler.
PTs, I think it's cooler too. PTs over, in different countries are called physios rather than just, being called a physical therapist. So whenever I was coming up within Results, they would talk about how, hey, it's supposed to mean that we're also a little bit more manual-based and different things like that. At the end of the day, I see it as physiotherapy and physical therapy are interchangeable. And at my clinic, we do hands-on things as well. But I can't say for everybody with a physio behind their name that that's what they do.
Samantha Knupp, our industry expert physio from Inspired Physiotherapy. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Great conversation this morning, and the article will be posted later this morning. Again, it talks about fall prevention, and I encourage you, if you've got somebody in your life who's getting up there in age, maybe they're not there yet, or they haven't had that fall yet, thank goodness, but being prepared for the situation is obviously the first step. Again, excuse the pun. Again, the article is called Feeling Unsteady, How Physical Therapy Can Help Prevent Falls. Miss Samantha, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Have a great day. We'll be back on the other side. We're just getting things started here on a Mayhem Monday. It is the starting lineup. ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester.
Spring is in the air, and so are fresh new savings at Furniture Merchandise Outlet, FMO, right here in Tullahoma. Ready to refresh your space? From living rooms and bedrooms to dining sets and mattresses, FMO has the styles you want at prices you'll love. No long waits, no sticker shock. Just take it home today. Visit them at 105 North Jackson Street in Tullahoma or browse anytime at FMOTN.com. Furniture Merchandise Outlet, where spring cleaning turns into a spring upgrade.
Bringing back some of those warmer temperatures, today's going to be a bright and sunny day with a high of 65 degrees. Got some southwest winds coming in from 10 to 15 miles per hour, some gusts up to around 25. So get back out there, enjoy some more of the sunshine, and stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069.
Hey neighbors, this is Johnny Hand from the Afternoon Handoff on ESPN Radio Winchester, and I just want to say thank you. It's only been a couple of months since we debuted my show, and you have been so supportive and so gracious to tune in every single weekday from 2 to 4, whether you're in the car, at work, at home, or streaming us wherever you may be. And a special thank you, of course, to the incredible guests who join me on the show. Those are huge reasons that this program is as fun and as engaging as it is. To our listeners and to our guests alike, thank you for helping make the Afternoon Handoff something special. And keep listening, ESPN Radio 1340, 106.9, WCDT, Winchester.
This segment of the starting lineup is brought to you by the Furniture Merchandise Outlet in Tullahoma. Tune into the starting lineup with the FMO Facebook feed every weekday. Now, back to Joe and Chewy.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT, Winchester. Joe Abraham alongside Chewy. It's definitely Monday morning.
Well, we got Brett Crabtree up in the chat here with us.
Good morning, Brett. That was a good conversation, though.
I really like when Sam comes in.
Yeah.
She's always got some really cool little fact or things that she does out there, stuff you never even thought of.
Well, what I think is really telling as well is, and for people who listen to the show, they know I have a certain cadence with how I talk where I'm fairly slow at times, and that is because I'm thinking of what I'm trying to say, and I've got to kind of work through it in my mind. What I notice about Miss Samantha is how fast she speaks, and I don't mean from a, like, she just is a fast talker. Because when you have a regular conversation with her, she talks fairly normal speed, but she goes through all of that information so rapidly, which is telling to how smart she is. Like, she knows that stuff like the back of her hand.
Yeah.
It's impressive, to say the least.
Literally putting the expert and industry expert up
Yeah. Because you ask her a question, and she just, like, goes off on these different... And she knows how to say big words.
Yeah. And to write them down for 931 Go articles.
Yeah. It's impressive. Okay, so over the weekend, Chewy, before we get into the calls this morning, I got a chance to go over to the softball game, the Franklin County Rebelettes softball game, and I will tell you what, that's a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Now, they ended up losing to Blackman by a score of 14-6, but they fell behind early and then came back and took the lead. It was like 6-3 at one point in time. They hit 3 home runs in the game, and you can tell the hitting is there. You can see that they've got a ton of raw talent in that lineup. And if you haven't been out to check out a Rebelette softball game, I encourage you to do so. They're a very young team, and you can see how they're and where they're still growing. It's little things right now, like communication on fly balls, defensive errors and miscues and things like that. But at this level, that's usually the difference in a game. So these young girls who have a whole lot of talent are just working through some of those things. I would be shocked if in a couple of weeks, as we start to hit like the district tournament and things like that, that this team is not a completely different team. And Coach K, as they like to call Coach Kelly Kennedy, I think that she's really building something special over there. And you can see these pieces. They're starting to come together. And so I think it bodes well for them in the future. I think in the next year or so, they're going to really do some special things. But it was a fun game to watch. What was really telling, too, and I had some conversations while I was at the game with some parents, and what was really telling is at this level, you can really see the 20% of high school athletes who kind of like take it seriously, who lock in and really take the sport seriously. And then on top of that, there's another 20% of those 20% who their parents are also locked in to helping them achieve their goals. And I think that is one of the things that has been missing here as of late with a lot of the athletes in Franklin County. So much gets put on the athletes, and the kids nowadays, all they want to do is play video games and that type of thing. Well, girls, not a whole lot of girls play video. Well, I say not a whole lot. Not as many girls play video games as guys do, first and foremost. But what's really telling about that type of talk is, well, as their parent, it's our job to make sure that they prioritize things ahead of the video games. If that's your concern with your child, then get them out there. Take it as seriously as you need to make sure that they're prioritizing it the right way. Because if they want to play a sport at the next level, if they want to succeed at something that they're doing, which I don't believe in doing anything without putting effort into it to succeed. If you're going to do it right? There are a lot of parents, though, that just say, well, my kid they just don't want it. enough. Not a lot of kids do. Not a lot of adults do. But your job as an adult, in my opinion, is if they're one of those kids in the 20%, give them the best opportunity to succeed by supporting them in the way that only an adult can. What I mean by that is kids will look for the easy way out. Kids will, and again, a lot of parents will too, but they look to do the least amount of work to get the most amount of results, right? It's like in our human nature. We're lazy as human beings. We want the easy way.
You want to conserve your energy.
Right. And that is not always, especially when it comes to athletics, how you become successful. What we need from the parents around here is to push the kids, to show them what real commitment looks like, to push through when things get hard. Because these kids, regardless of how talented they are, at some point in time or another, they're going to run into adversity. And if they don't know, if they've never been shown how to push through it, then they're not going to continue to develop and they're not going to achieve their goals, whether it be in an athletic arena or whether it be in life. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that's missing right now is, again, talking about accountability. It's not just the kids. If you've got a kid that is playing a sport, teach them what commitment looks like. Teach them, if they are just playing for fun, okay, that's up to them. Their level of commitment is up to them. But if they truly want to be successful at it, if they truly want to be great at it, possibly play at the next level, then show them what that looks like. Don't just go about, letting them figure it out. Mm-hmm. They're a kid. They've never had to really push through real, true adversity like that in their life. So show them what it looks like. Anyway, the other thing that happened, Chewy, at the softball game was I had a traumatic experience.
I heard about this weekend. So
yeah.
Why don't you enlighten everybody on what
Well, because it was so traumatic, I had to call you about it.
Yeah.
So I was at the Rebelettes softball game, just minding my own business, watching the game, supporting the girls, trying to get the lay of the land, and back over my left ear, one of the dads yells from the bench. He says, "Hey, Joe," and I kind of turned my head back and looked, and he said, "I thought that you'd be bigger in person."
Oh, my gosh.
I thought that you'd be bigger in person. Maybe it's just the shirt that you're wearing. And he tried to kind of back off it a little bit.
Uh-huh.
What kind of psychological warfare is that?
Hey, homie just wants to see you get in the gym and get swole again, okay?
I have been thinking about that moment nonstop for the last 48 hours.
Oh, man, you threatened the roids and everything. Yep, I'm doing it.
Bigger in person. I don't even know what that means. Like, did he think that I was The Rock or something?
I don't know. The way you sell yourself on TV may be a little bit different.
Well, that's what he said. He said, you look bigger on the Facebook feed, or on the video feed.
Maybe it's the way you sit. You kind of sit with, like, your arms forwards a little bit. I don't know. But, I'm going to stay out of this one. But,
I went to the gym yesterday, not for an hour, not for an hour and a half, for 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
I went to the gym. There's nothing like
Brett's losing it in the
there's
chat.
nothing like being personally challenged, called out in public by a softball player's dad.
You know what? Hey, good on him for giving you the motivation to get back in the gym, though. Yeah, excuses.
Yeah,
but now there are no more.
No, yeah, I've got my gym bag with me.
You're ready to go.
Yeah,
It gave you the right kind of fire, though.
I was gonna down a
Should
bunch.
thank him.
Oh, I that's the purpose of this segment. I was going to down a bunch of raw eggs this morning, but we were out. Yeah, I was going to go all Rocky. And listen, I'm too embarrassed to even, like, I'm wearing a sleeved shirt right now, even though I was in the gym, like I said.
I'll go sleeveless with you.
There you go. I was in the gym yesterday and absolutely got after it.
Golly, I'm pale. Look at that. Dang. Oh, wow.
We got to get you in the gym.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a little muscle there.
I got a pretty
something
decent
there.
tricep, yeah.
There's something there.
That's what it's going to be in the gym the whole time, you realize, right? It's like, yeah, you look a little bit bigger. I'll work out for 5 minutes. What do you think? How are the guns? I mean, yeah.
All right, let's get a break in here. When we come back, we'll go out to Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware. We need to hurry up, though, and finish this show because I got to get back in the gym. It is.
Well, Brett did say the camera adds 10 pounds, which is great news for me. But
it all goes straight to my biceps, too, apparently, because I look bigger on the video than I do in person. I thought you'd be bigger, he says. Also, if anybody knows a guy who can help, like, hook me up with the roids, let me know. I'm not too proud.
Hey, I'll do it with you. Do a double order.
Whatever needs to be done. All right, it is the starting lineup. We'll be back on the other side. ESPN Radio, 1340, 106.9, WCDT Winchester.
Athletics teach more than wins and losses. Substance misuse can undermine performance, health, and long-term goals. That's why prevention matters in sports and in life. The Franklin County Prevention Coalition partners with schools, coaches, and families to promote healthy choices among student athletes. Because when teams support one another, we are stronger together. And when young leaders compete with clear minds and healthy bodies, they're truly stronger without it. Learn more at fcpctn.org. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Busy day? No time to feel sick? At Complete Express Care in Winchester, we know life moves fast. And so do we. With short wait times, skilled providers, and walk-in convenience, we make getting quality care easy. Whether it's the flu, a sprain, or a last-minute physical, we're here to help you get back to what matters most. Locally trusted, open daily, and ready to care for you. Complete Express Care, right here at 1211 Dinah Shore Boulevard in Winchester. Call 931-967-6669 today to learn more.
It's time for a local news break from the 931 Go News Center.
South Middle School has announced Cale Thompson as its new head football coach. In an online statement, Coach Thompson expressed gratitude to Dr. Brewer, Dr. Dawson, and the school's administration for the opportunity. He said he is extremely grateful and excited for this next chapter in his family's life and looks forward to continuing South Middle School's proud tradition of excellence, not only on the field, but in the classroom as well. School officials say they are excited to see the program move forward under his leadership. Meanwhile, the Franklin County Board of Education has begun early work on the fiscal year 2027 budget, reviewing a needs list that would require an additional $4.9 million in revenue. The initial draft increases general appropriations from $56.2 million to $61.1 million. Director of Schools Dr. Carrie Holman cited several major expenses, including athletic field upgrades, roofing projects, and mandated teacher salary increases tied to Governor Bill Lee's Teacher Paycheck Protection Act. The proposed budget also includes steep increases, degree advancements, a 3.5% raise for employees, and a 5% increase in health insurance funding. Incoming Director Dr. Roger Alsup noted that final state revenue numbers remain uncertain, making the budget a work in progress. Board members discussed whether to draw from the district's $8.9 million reserve fund or request additional funding from the County Commission. In Tullahoma, the Airport Authority has voted to restart its search for an airport manager. Chairman Carla Smith said the position will be reposted for approximately 2 weeks, following a stalled hiring recommendation. The authority will work with the city's Human Resources Department and may revisit its agreement with the city regarding approval of authority for the position. For more local updates, visit 931go.com. Stay informed and stay connected to your community with ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is Dale from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Now check in scissor hands. I'm the wrong guy to ask, but what's the secret to a good haircut?
A good haircut makes you feel confident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when you get that haircut, you're going to walk out that barbershop, you're going to look in the mirror, and you're going to be like, yeah, that's it. And you're going to tip the barber.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC Network.
We apologize if this is your first time, but yes, unfortunately, this is normal. You're listening to the starting lineup on ESPN Radio 1340 1069, WCDT Winchester.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. Joe Abraham alongside Chewy on a Mayhem Monday after Stormageddon.
Adrian jumped in the chat with us, giving us some exit bicep emojis.
I like it, Andrew. Thanks for
rubbing it in,
sending the motivation. Yeah, thought that I'd be bigger in person. I haven't heard that one before.
If I had a nickel for every time.
All right, let's jump on the phones, and we'll go out to Poultry, Electric, and Pro Hardware. In hour number 2 this morning, Maggie Gibson from High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas will be back in studio. They came in last week with Dr. Crabtree as they talked about, I think it's Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Is what they said, if I remember correctly. I've slept since then. In case you missed it over the weekend as well, Dylan Nutt, that's right, Dylan Nutt won the Bassmaster Classic. Why is that significant? Well, Dylan is from right here in Middle Tennessee. And he is a 22-year-old senior over at UNA. He's from Nashville. And he has fished in tournaments here in Franklin County.
Franklin County.
Is that Jeff?
This is Jeff. We're running around crazy this morning.
Oh, I hear that. I'm sure that there are probably people got a lot of things that they got to fix after the weather last night.
Yeah, we got a couple we got 2 that's called in with a stomach bug this morning.
Oh no!
That's
not good.
So we're trying to get some paint mixed that Johnny the paint guy was supposed to mix, and then we got some deliveries going out that we're going to have to change some people around and give some new job titles and descriptions today.
We got Jeffrey the paint guy on right now.
Yeah, that's right. We got Jeff the paint guy. Just got through mixing 2 gallons of paint. I got 5 more gallons to mix, and then we got to figure out some. The other, our paint guy called in sick with a stomach bug, and then our Tim, the guy that delivers our appliances, is called in sick with a stomach bug. So I don't know if they was kissing or what for both of them to have a stomach bug.
Jeez, yeah, that's telling. Well, listen, I'm in the process of getting jacked again, so if you need somebody to throw some washers and dryers around and stuff like that, just let me know. I'll run over there.
All right.
No, so speaking of washers and dryers, Katie and I, a while back, we got the Speed Queen dryer, right, from you guys over there at Poultry Electric, and the appliance showroom in the back. We may need to, it may be time. It may be time for us to go over there and take a look at the washers, because our washer is to the point where it doesn't even spin the water anymore out of the stuff. So now we put the stuff in the dryer, and it's all still wet.
It's all dripping and soppy wet, right?
It is. And the dryer works tremendous, but it doesn't work as well when the clothes are freaking soaking wet.
Well, Miss Christie here, when we first took on the Speed Queen line and got the Speed Queen line here, her immediate need was a dryer. So she got the Speed Queen dryer. and she's telling the same story that you're telling. You know,
Yeah.
her Speed Queen dryer's right. It took a little extra time because she said, Jeff, they're still dripping water when I move them over there. And I say, Christy, that cannot be good for the machine, you know.
Right.
But she's got to do it because that's the situation she's in.
Yeah.
So finally, we just make the decision. We're going to take her a Speed Queen washer, and we're going to make it work, right?
Yeah.
And because hers is, we done went up there, and her husband's done tore into it probably a dozen times, put parts in it, and it's still making all kinds of sounds like a bomb's going off or got a rod knocking or something.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
So anyways, she finally puts the Speed Queen a washer in, and she comes in here that Monday morning, and she is just so amazed at how dry her clothes was before they had to go to the dryer.
Yeah.
And I said, Christy, that's probably a normal thing. She said, I know, but I've been fighting this for a year now. And she said, I just forgot how dry a clothing article can be once the wash cycle ends before I put it into the dryer, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you may be in that window right now, you know.
Yeah. I've replaced the rods in the thing. I've done all the things, and I've had it. I might as well have just left the clothes out in the rain last night. That's how wet they were.
I understand.
But
and you know that's a common deal that we get told coming in the hardware store here, that you know when it comes to appliances, it's either the way you said it or it's right opposite.
Yeah.
They'll pull them out of their new washer they got, and they're damp, and then they put them in the dryer, and they'll dry them for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And they're still not dry.
Yep.
And their dryer is making sound. So I mean, you either get it on the washer side, or you get it on the dryer side. It never fails. So it's time. It's time. I know I'm a little bit. What's the word? I just lost the word on the tip of my tongue. I'm a little prejudiced towards you coming and buying a washer. I really am. So I think it's time that you come do it.
No, I think that you're right. I've about had it. That's for sure.
And I'll tell you what, I'll make your experience easy. And it, not just for you. We would do this for anyone that comes in. It's a good opportunity for you and I to discuss this.
Yeah.
You would not even have to come to the hardware store because you've already bought the dryer, correct?
Right.
All I'd have to do is look up, or it'd probably be easier if you'll just send me a picture or call me back and tell me what your model number is on your dryer. And I will set you up. I'll set you up for a delivery. I'll get your washer delivered, installed, carry your old one off if you want me to, or leave it there for you. You can pay me on the phone. We can take care of the payment anyhow you want to do it, but you would not even have to come to the hardware store.
I love it.
We could just match your dryer unit since you've already got one with the same model number, Speed Queen washer. Now, how much easier could that be?
Well, the only other thing that we'll need to do is I'm also having problems with my oven, so I'm going to need to send you. So the electric starter thing on my gas oven has gone out, so I'm going to need to order one of those too. So you can bring them at the same time, probably though.
There you go. Yeah, so we can do it. So we can do all that to the convenience of the telephone, and you never have to walk in the store. Although now we do love seeing customers.
I was just going to say, but then I wouldn't get to come in and pick on you. And
I know. We do love seeing customers, but in today's world, everybody shops. Everybody shops from the phone. They call. They text. I had a customer walk in my office the other day, and I was literally texting, and he was a gentleman that's older than me, let's say that.
Right.
And I said, hey, I'll be right with you just a second there. And I kept doing, it was actually two customers we was texting back and forth. And it was one was a delivery and one was an order he's giving me to deliver the next day.
Yeah.
And anyways, it probably took me 2 or 3 minutes to finish that up, you know. And then finally I got it done. Hey, sorry about your wait there. And this and that. And he says, that's what's wrong with the world today is them telephones. He said, I'm not fussing at you, but I'm just saying that that's what's wrong with them. And I said, I know. I said, I don't know why we don't call or do this anymore. I said, I was actually working on 2 orders out there with customers. He said, do what?
Yeah.
You know, he's 64 years old now. Let's go into that. He's 64. And he said, what was you doing there? I said, he texted me the order, and I told him, I've got it. Where's the delivery address?
Yeah.
And he said, well, why did he just call you and tell you that? I said, I don't know. And then I said, the other one was a quote that I worked on for about 6 items. The guy wanted to know what this was going to cost him. And then he texted me back and said, we're good. Bring them tomorrow at 10 o'clock, you know. So, but he didn't understand that. He had no understanding of how we was communicating there, back and forth. And I get it. I mean, we do a lot more texting and emailing now than we do talking to customers a lot of times, you know.
Well, the moral of the story, though, is that whether it's through smoke signals, text message, whether they walk in the store, you guys will take care of them over there at Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware.
Right. That's right. Any way you can communicate with me, I'll communicate back with you. How's that sound? If it's through email, if it's through text, if it's through smoke signals, if it's through Morse code.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could read Morse code now. But
No,
anyway,
probably not.
We better not go there. Somebody will be Morse code me in a little bit, and I won't know what.
Yeah.
what
Why
I'm
didn't my
doing,
order
so.
show up?
Anyways, hey, come and see us at Poultry Electric Pro Hardware, 1991 Sharp Springs Road. We got 2 out sick today, so it's going to be a challenging day with the plans we got. I know it's going to be a little cooler this week. If you need propane, we haven't talked about propane in a day or two, but if you need some propane for supplemental heat or out in the shop or whatever you got going on at the job site, come and see us for all your propane needs there. I can't talk about heaters. We're out of heaters, so I do have a couple propane heaters left.
Propane for the RV. Now that people are going to be
propane for the RVs. I've got that, so you can get that here. We can take care of that. So come and see us at Poultry Electric Pro Hardware, 1991 Sharp Springs Road. Call us at 967-7351. Hey, it's going to be a little challenge today, but I promise you we'll get through it. We got 2 out sick. We'll have to move 2 more around in the store to do deliveries and whatever it has to be. But hey, you come and see us. We'll make it happen.
All right, brother.
Hey, thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too. That is Jeff over at Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware. We'll hit the top of the hour here, and when we come back after the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll go out to Heath Automotive. And then in hour number 2, we're also going to have High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomason. I mentioned Dylan Nutt winning the Bassmaster Classic from right here in Middle Tennessee, Nashville native. And in hour number 2, we may connect with the big dog who is on his way back. They actually, him and my ma, just hit the road coming back from the Classic. So we may catch up with him. For those who don't know, I'm not just calling my father because he went. He's the host of nationally syndicated Bassmaster Radio, which you can hear each and every Saturday morning right here on ESPN Radio Winchester. All right, we'll get a break in here, like I said, and be back with hour number 2 next. It is the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester.
Spring is a season of renewal, and at High Point Health System, with Ascension St. Thomas, your health is always in season. From routine checkups to advanced care, their dedicated team is here to help you feel your best, today and every day. Compassionate care, backed by the strength of Ascension St. Thomas. This spring, take a moment for your health. Learn more or find a provider at highpointhealthsystem.com. High Point Health System with Ascension St. Thomas. Caring for you for every season of life.
With the latest from around FCHS and Rebel Nation.
The Rebel Report, every weekday presented by Oaklawn Baptist Church, right here on ESPN Radio Winchester.
Welcome back to another Rebel Report. We've got plenty of exciting updates from Franklin County Athletics this week, so let's get started.
It's been a busy and successful stretch for our Rebel teams, especially on the baseball diamond. This Thursday night, the Rebels picked up a big win over Sequatchie County with a final score of 3-2. It was a hard-fought game that showed the team's determination and ability to close out tight contests.
And the momentum didn't stop there. Last night, the Rebels were back on the field and earned another strong victory, defeating Community High School 9-6. The offense came alive, and the team did a great job holding off Community late to secure the win.
The Rebels will look to keep that momentum going tonight as they travel to Athens, Alabama for a game scheduled to begin at 6 p.m. We wish the team safe travels and the best of luck as they continue their season.
Now, on the softball side, the Rebelettes are also preparing for a busy weekend. Tonight, they will travel to Tullahoma for a matchup scheduled for 5 p.m. Then on Saturday, they'll return home for an 11 a.m. game against Blackman. If you're in town, be sure to come out and support the Rebelettes.
Our Franklin County soccer boys team is making waves this weekend as they compete in the Smoky Mountain Tournament. The Rebels picked up a great 2-0 win over Seymour and will continue to play today.
The action doesn't stop there, though. The soccer team will continue in the Smoky Mountain Tournament as the tournament continues into Saturday. We wish them the best as they represent Franklin County and hope they continue their strong run.
In addition to athletics, our talented FCHS show choir will also be taking the stage this weekend. Their performances are scheduled for Friday the 13th at 6 p.m. and again on Saturday the 14th at 2 p.m.
If you get the chance, be sure to stop by and support these incredible performers. They've been working hard and always put on a fantastic show.
That's all for this week's Rebel Report.
Good luck to all of our Franklin County teams and performers this weekend.
And as always, go Rebels.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a fifth-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN Radio Winchester studio, it's the starting lineup. Now, here are your hosts, Joe Abraham and Chewy.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069 WCDT Winchester. Joe Abraham along with Chewy.
Waiting on this call from Deckard here. Johnny Hand jumped in the chat saying, don't let softball dad ruin his day. Remind Joe that his fan interaction on Friday night at the show choir performance.
Yes, and I wish that I remembered that little girl's name and her dad. But Chewy, I think she might have been a little disappointed that you weren't there.
Are you serious?
She was excited to see me, and her dad mentioned, we listen to you guys every morning.
Yeah.
Which was very sweet. But I know what's up. I know who everybody's really a fan of.
Let's talk to Deckard here this morning. Good morning, Deckard.
Good morning, WCDT. How are you?
Oh, we're all right. It's a little cloudy, a little chilly outside today, so we need some positive energy up in the station. You guys think you could give us a really, really good pledge this morning?
Oh, I think we can do that. We've got second grade this week, so we've got 4 very excited boys and girls from Miss Harris's class ready to make that happen.
All right, let's hear it.
Good morning, Franklin County. Please join Deckard Elementary as we
stand, salute, and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Absolutely beautiful pledge this morning, guys.
That was fantastic, wasn't it?
It was.
All right, who's got jump this morning? My name is Jonathan, and I got the joke. Why should you meditate during a storm?
I don't know.
It's an enlightening experience.
An
enlightening experience.
Yeah, that was a cute one. I like that one, Deckard. Very, very nice. Hey,
that was a good one.
You know, it's right on theme too. So, but thank you so much.
It is. It's very relevant.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We hope that you guys have a wonderful day.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
All right. Enlightening, Joe Abraham. So what do you got over there? Ah.
I had to go get more creatine.
Yeah. I get you.
I had to get back on the sauce.
You may have to drink a lot of water after this.
Yes. Well, I've been drinking a lot of water here in the last couple of days because, when somebody says he thought you were bigger.
You're talking about biceps.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you want to jump into this Heath Automotive phone call this morning?
Yeah, let's go ahead and
All
call Heath. And for people who may be wondering, I don't know if everybody remembers a while. Whoa. Thank you. I don't know if everybody remembers a while back the golfer that said he OD'd on creatine. I don't know if that's possible. We might put it to the test, though. Oh, man. Just hoping that everybody waking up this morning is doing well. Hope they don't have any damage or anything like that around the house. Storms last night were pretty nasty. Let's go out to Heath Automotive, though, this morning, and I believe we've got Steve on the line.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing great on a Monday morning.
It is a great Monday morning, and I ask you, we got March Madness is finally here. The tournament bracket is set. Alabama's been interesting this year. They got a lot of talent on that roster. You think that your Crimson Tide can make any kind of a run in this thing?
Well, they're 4 seed. We'll see who shows up for the game.
Yeah.
The semifinal game in the SEC tournament, some of the team didn't show up, it looked like. So.
Yeah. Well, they're not at least in their defense, they're not the only team that, we get to this time of year, it's interesting. It changes, a lot of times it changes, the dynamic is like who can be the most clutch at certain moments. And they've got a lot of work to do, that's for sure. But all that being said, I'm excited. I think that it's going to be a fun tournament regardless. It pretty much always is. And they've got a talented little team. I think that the SEC as a whole has some fun teams to watch in it. And so I encourage anybody listening, if you haven't already, jump into the bracket challenge that we've got up on our Facebook page, and you can compete against myself and Chewy and Johnny Hand and Katie. We're all going to be picking our brackets here shortly. But, regardless of who wins as far as the best basketball team, we don't need a bracket, in my opinion, to figure out who the best automotive place is around town, Steve. To me, you guys are the champion year after year, and you do a great job over there at Heath Automotive. We've talked about the tradition of excellence that you guys have developed over there, but talk about from the small from a different perspective as far as the small things that you guys do that you think maybe sets you apart from some of the other places that somebody could take their vehicle to.
Well, a big thing that we look at is, and we have for decades now, we've had a focus on the tire business. We do a lot of other things besides that, but we really focus on the tire business. And we are constantly, sometimes daily, following up or finalizing where somebody's been someplace else to buy tires, get something done tire-wise and all, and the other shop doesn't do it or couldn't do it, and it's just something I'm very serious about. If you're going to sell customers tires, you need to be able to take care of it. And what that means is you need to be properly trained, have the equipment to do just maybe not the easy stuff, but you can also do the harder stuff as well. It's usually a financial investment. Some of these tire changers cost $40-some-odd thousand.
Right.
Balancers that cost $30,000. Yeah, you can buy equipment cheaper than that, but they can't take care of every job. Right. They can't take care of problems. Things like being able to do alignment. Alignment is a key component in you're going out here, you're going to invest $800 to $1,000 in a set of tires. You want that investment to last. You don't want to turn around 8 months from now and, 2 of the tires worn abnormally. That's not what you made that investment for. You want to be able to check alignment, correct steering problems. So you need to be in the alignment. If you're going to be serious about it, you've got to be in the steering, suspension, and alignment business to really take care of your customers when it comes to their tires. So that's always been something we focus on, because we have to go behind other shops, and to me, not being mean about competition and whatnot, but if you're going to sell tires, you ought to be able to take care of your customer.
Well, and two, it sounds like the way that vehicles have gone here in recent years is they've become more precision and performance machines. Even the everyday drivers, probably as opposed to 20, 30, 40 years ago, the industry has changed tremendously over that time, and you guys have seen that process. You've worked through that process along the way. So, you know, you've really seen it all over there at Heath Automotive, because you've been doing it. What is the saying? We talked about it last week, Chewy. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. That's kind of how you guys are over there at Heath Automotive.
We've seen a lot. You talk about innovation and change over time. Look at TPMS. That's the acronym for Tire Pressure Monitoring Systems. That's something we didn't used to have to contend with back into, it became mandatory. Congress made it mandatory on vehicles in 2008, but you were seeing it prior to that. And that is your tire pressure monitoring system. It can be an indirect system. It can be a direct system. If it is a direct system, you want to be able to have the instrumentation there to check and see if that sensor is okay. Otherwise, you're going to be checking, wheel sensors. Some vehicles run off their wheel sensors. So there again, another degree of training, another degree of experience, or you can't take care of your customer. Mrs. Customer comes in, her tire light's on, and you don't want to be sitting there and saying, "Yeah, I'm sorry," and shrug your shoulder and say, "I don't know what to do. I can put air in your tire, but past that, I can't help you." And that's where it comes from, commitment. And you need to be able to commit to be able to handle those things.
Right. Well, you guys are committed to excellence, and that is reflected as well in everything that you do, including your brand new excellent website, which you can find over at heathautomotivetire.com. And for folks who check out the new website, they can also see just some of, because you guys have so many rebates from manufacturers going on right now. But if they scroll about 3/4 of the way down the site, they will see a list of 6 or 7 different manufacturer rebates going on right now that they can get in on, and you guys can also help them with financing as well. So all kinds of solutions if they're looking to get into a new set of tires this spring.
Absolutely, Joe. We'll give Mason most of the credit for hanging in there and working with website people. That's not my generation. If you want to come in and kick a tire here in the showroom and we talk about it, I'm real good at that. But if you want to get on your phone and buy tires, that's more Mason's, and he's done a real good job of bringing that. He continues to work on that. There are rebates that aren't on there. He will continue to work on getting all that on. Don't think that's all we've got. There's pricing on there. He's pulling his hair out right now because the pricing is kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Some of it's too low, some of it's too high. He's working on that. So it's a work in progress, but he has really done a good job on putting together a website that we think a lot of our customers, people my age, that's not going to be their thing. But there's a lot of people that they're on a website or they're on their phone and they're looking for information. They're looking for what's available. They're looking for what their choices are. And we want to be out there in front of them to help them with their tire and automotive needs.
Yeah, no, I'm from my perspective as one of those in the younger generation, I think it's tremendous. You can actually enter your vehicle's details, and then it'll pull up the different tire options that you can choose from, and book an appointment all right there from the website. So I do encourage folks to check it out. And Steve, as we wrap things up, where can folks find you if they're like me and they go and look on the website? That's one thing. But if they're like you and they want to come and actually talk to you face to face in person, where can they find you?
Well, we're in Winchester at 501 First Avenue Southwest. That's 4 blocks off the square, right at the split. If you're headed out of town, that's like you're going to Belvedere or Huntland. And you can give us a call, 967-3880. We're full crew here this morning. Everybody's at the counter ready to help with any questions or scheduling or services that you need. And then the website is heathautomotivetire.com.
And I recommend, too, you can even pick Steve's brain on some March Madness stuff before you fill out your bracket as well. You may end up picking Alabama as the national champion, but he'll help you out nonetheless.
I am a fan, but I'm also a realist. So,
well, that's good.
That would be an upset if that happened.
Yeah, just a little bit. All right, brother. Well, have a tremendous weekend. We will talk to you on Friday, my friend.
Y'all take care.
That is Steve over at heathautomotivetire.com. And again, as you're filling out your bracket, that's one of those. There's no field of 64 when it comes to. There's just a field of 1 when it comes to an automotive repair shop here in town. That's the choice you need to make. And so I do recommend them. And if you have any questions about that, go ahead and check out their Google reviews. It's hard. As an automotive play, it's hard to maintain a positive star rating as high as they have. Go check out how many reviews and what their score is online. You'll be blown away. When we come back, we've got the folks from Ascension High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas in with us this morning. One of these days I'll remember their full name, but they're coming up next. It is the starting lineup. You're listening to ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Hey folks, I'm Johnny Hand from WCDT, the home for Franklin County Athletics. From Friday night football to every big game in between, we're proud to bring you all the action that keeps our community cheering. Want to be part of that excitement? We'd love to talk with you about advertising and other great opportunities to support our local athletes. So give us a call today at 931-967-2201 or stop by the station at 1201 South College Street right here in Winchester. WCDT Winchester. We are Franklin County.
From the 931 Go Weather Center, it's time for an ESPN Radio Winchester weather update, presented by Bennett's Pharmacy.
Bringing back some of those warmer temperatures, today's going to be a bright and sunny day with a high of 65 degrees. Got some southwest winds coming in from 10 to 15 miles per hour, some gusts up to around 25. So get back out there, enjoy some more of the sunshine, and stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069.
At Bennett's Pharmacy in Winchester, we're more than a pharmacy. We're your partner in health. Conveniently located at 1201 Dinah Shore Boulevard, we're here to serve you with fast, friendly, and personalized service. Need prescriptions filled? Looking for over-the-counter products? We've got you covered. Plus, enjoy local delivery and expert advice from our caring team. Call us today at 931-967-2777 or stop by Bennett's Pharmacy at 1201 Dinah Shore Boulevard today.
Choose more Courtney Funeral Home. Well, they're a fifth-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, and compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
This segment of the starting lineup is brought to you by the Furniture Merchandise Outlet in Tullahoma. Tune into the starting lineup with the FMO Facebook feed every weekday. Now, back to Joe and Chewy.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069 WCDT, Winchester, Joe Abraham in studio with Chewy. And now we are joined by our favorite guests from over at High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas. Well, at least some of our favorite guests. Miss Sowers in studio with us. Maggie didn't make it this morning.
No, I feel kind of like I'm missing half my sandwich because I say we're like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
So I'm missing the
just peanut butter today.
The jam. Yeah, I'm just the peanut butter. The nuts is what you're getting on a Monday morning, friends.
Well, but you did bring somebody with you.
I did.
So introduce our guest today.
So I'm excited. So I am getting the pleasure to bring in Dr. Wendy Patton with us this morning. She is one of our new orthopedic surgeons that has recently joined us, and she and I have been spending some time together out on the road and visiting all the providers and clinics and going just all the places, and she's probably about tired of me, I'd say, by now. But anyway, we have had a great time getting her out and introducing her to the community. I know I'm excited, and lots of other folks we've talked to are excited that she's here with us and joining Dr. Arnold, because he was kind of like Dr. Wasson there for a little bit. He was a one-man show, and so now he's got Dr. Crabtree, so now Dr. Arnold has Dr. Patton. So we're kicking it up a notch, friends. So, I have her on, and I guess I'm going to turn it over to her because, her purpose of her being here is to talk, not me. So if you want to tell folks a little bit about your background, your education, and just kind of where you've been the last 3 years or so.
Yeah, so I'm originally from the West Coast, so I grew up in Seattle, went to school on the East Coast and med school, and then I did my fellowship down at UAB in Birmingham.
Okay.
I am married to a Nashville boy, so my first job out was actually back on the West Coast to be closer to my mom, but he's been sitting there counting down the days that we would be able to make it back to Tennessee. And about 4 years ago, we moved down here. We've got a little place between Tullahoma and Winchester. And we've got our little farm, and we've got a 7-year-old kiddo who loves being on the farm. And so I was at another position in Tullahoma, and that wasn't working out. And so I am down here hoping to service the same community as an orthopedic surgeon. My fellowship is actually in foot and ankle. So while I am a general orthopedic surgeon, I do have fellowship training in the foot and ankle. So I predominantly do lower extremity, but I do some fingers and hands that are within kind of the general orthopedic realm.
Okay, so when I get upset at Chewy and I stick my foot up his butt, you can help me with that.
Absolutely. I'm very good at retrieving those.
Listen, it's Monday Mayhem.
Yeah, he's wound up this morning. It's all right. He had a rough weekend.
I had a rough week. You're going to have to excuse me. I got to take it out on somebody, and he's Chewy. Okay, so how about the culture shock coming here? I mean, is it a shock to you? Or, I mean, you obviously you've kind of been in the region. You said you went to school at UAB.
Yeah, I did my fellowship at UAB.
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit of a culture shock, and I have, after 4 years, started throwing in y'all every now and then.
Yeah, there you go. You're assimilating.
Right? I'm assimilating. But it's actually lovely.
Yeah.
It's like a lovely culture shock.
Yeah.
The support and community. We were in a sort of suburban-y, rural area also in Seattle, but it's very different here where you can be rural and still a huge part of the community.
Yeah.
And that's been absolutely lovely. So we've really enjoyed just not only meeting people, but trying all of the restaurants. We've got amazing restaurants. I think people think that because it's rural, there's not, but there's amazing food.
Yeah.
And we're kind of foodies. my husband started like farming hogs, so we raise hogs.
Oh man,
wow!
They're bougie. They're bougie hogs.
Yeah, I've got one of my own, so I understand. It's tough to keep them clean sometimes. Well, one of the cool things about the area too that we live in is we are kind of centrally located to a bunch of different metro areas. So you've got Nashville, you got Chattanooga, and you've got Huntsville, all within kind of striking distance. And I do think that that's something that doesn't necessarily get appreciated by folks in our community enough, is that we are rural, but we're close enough to all of these great different metro areas that have – they're all known for different things. But, okay, enough about the area. So as an orthopedic surgeon, I think that that's got to be something that's pretty important to folks around here. And as far as the hospital is concerned, High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas, Miss Angie, this goes to talking about how you guys are recruiting tremendous talent. And I would say that Dr. Wendy is just another new addition as far as this talent is concerned. How excited are you guys to have her?
Well, like I said, we are very excited. I know the community is, the providers are. When you go to other primary care providers in our area, and they know that they have a lot of these specialty providers that they can lean on for support, send folks to. And again, with Ascension, their model is we want to bring health care to the people, not make the people come to us.
Yeah.
And so, you have these higher tertiary hospitals, levels in the bigger market areas like Nashville and Chattanooga and Huntsville, but not everybody in our area wants to travel that far, nor can they sometimes. They just don't have the means. They don't have the reliable transportation. They don't have children or grandchildren that can just take off work and take them. So their thinking is, we need providers right here. They want to drive 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, not an hour, hour and a half, and then maybe even have like an hour time change if you go like towards Chattanooga. So we are very, very thankful to have Dr. Patton here with all of her expertise and knowledge and you're right. I mean, since we've brought on with Ascension, it's helping us recruit. I think their branding and their reputation brings in a lot, and we're just very thankful that we are growing. I mean, 2026, I already said, it's going to be a great year for us, and I mean, yes, absolutely, Dr. Patton is just one extra notch in our belt. Like we're just, I mean, we're excited.
Dr. Patton, as far as serving the community, from your perspective, where do you feel like the opportunity maybe lies as far as this community is concerned, as far as the need or where you can fit in, where you can help?
Yeah, absolutely. So because I specialize in the foot and ankle, that is, of course, where I'm going to generally have a focus. I treat anywhere from the young to the older, sports injuries, bunions, deformities. I also do a lot of diabetic wound care, diabetic deformities, which I think is very needed within the community, not only to try and take care of the wounds when they arrive, but to try and salvage limbs and prevent amputations if we can. And unfortunately, sometimes if it gets to the stage where we need to remove it, we've got the right resources in place that we can get people up and moving and back to their normal lives as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So my goal is to get people back to their lives as fast as we can.
As far as, and this morning we've been talking a little bit, we had Samantha Canup on as well earlier, and she was talking about falls. And one of the parts of that conversation she talked about was how sometimes with neuropathy and other things like that, the older individuals as well, they can struggle with movement, and it can lead to falls and other issues. As far as older adults, I mean, is there kind of an age where you think that maybe their kids should be concerned about if they've got diabetes or if they've got issues like that where they're starting to kind of struggle to get around, where they maybe should get regular checkups on their lower extremities or something like that? Because I've got parents who are getting up there in age, and they think that they can do anything and everything until one day they just can't anymore.
Absolutely. So specifically for diabetes, what they've shown is starting at around 10 to 15 years of having diabetes, people start having neuropathy,
yeah.
and with that neuropathy, of course, you don't have the reflexes, and you don't have the sensations that help you balance, and so that can absolutely be a problem. We actually have an amazing group of physical therapists in the area, and also the High Point Health inpatient rehab, fantastic in kind of helping people regain balance and find mechanisms in which they can navigate. Even if they don't have the sensory feedback, they can find other ways to balance better.
My dad is he's currently doing PT. Like, he's going up to the hospital and doing it because he got a heart valve replacement. So they've been making him go up and down the steps and doing all the things. And he talked about the facility up there and how big it is and how serious you guys take that kind of stuff.
And they have a dedicated cardiac rehab facility specifically for people who have gone through cardiac procedures. So it's really impressive. And that's one of the first things I would say is, if you feel like there's any balance issues, some just dedicated physical therapy, because as we progress in life, our circumstances do become different, and the activities that you did when you were 15 are going to be very different than the activities you do when you're 55.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my main thought with regards to diabetes and neuropathy. However, just as we get older, things that become concerning are going to be osteoporosis. If you fall, you have osteoporosis, you have a much higher risk of having a hip fracture. Hip fractures are associated with a high degree of morbidity, or just loss of your normal life activities in the first year.
Right.
And it can take 8 months to a year to really regain that stamina back. So avoidance is way preferable to a really well done joint replacement or whatnot.
Yeah.
Although Dr. Arnold is there if we need any of that, but if we can avoid that, even better. Same type of thing. Physical therapy can be very helpful. If we find that people are really slowing down and they don't have the independent mobility, having a mobility device is going to be very helpful. And I think there's a little bit of, I guess, people feel some shame in using mobility devices, but I think having the prevention of falling versus not falling is going to be very valuable.
Right.
So especially for elderly, when I sit there and say, just have it with you as a backup. Yeah. There's no shame in having a backup.
Yeah. One of the things that I learned in recent years was, as far as smoking is concerned, Chewy, I always thought that smoking was just like bad for your lungs. I'm just talking like,
I don't smoke.
You're like looking around. No. But I just always thought that it was bad for your lungs. But what I learned was what it does to your veins, your arteries, and all that type of stuff, and how it hardens. And you're talking about dealing with like lower extremity issues and other things like that, wounds and other things. What people don't necessarily realize when you talk about smoking is the effect that can have on you in the long run. Say you have a diabetic foot wound or something like that, some sort of wound in your lower extremity, and your blood flow is not as good, or your veins and your arteries are hardened and they're not working correctly. Well, it makes it really hard for your body to heal those wounds the farther away from the heart that they get. And so that can lead to amputation and things like that. That, again, that's a conversation we don't even get into necessarily when it comes to smoking. I was just always like lung health, right? But it has such a bigger effect in the long run. I guess people may not realize the decisions that they're making today from a lifestyle standpoint can affect them, whether it be smoking or whether it be something else. It can affect them much further down the road as well.
Absolutely, and they've actually shown that with smoking, it's not even the act of smoking, really. It's the nicotine that causes vasoconstriction, or your vessels getting smaller.
Right.
And as a result, less blood flows to anything that you're trying to get to heal. That includes elective surgeries. You have an ankle fracture that is getting repaired, but you smoke, it can double the amount of healing time that it takes for a normal ankle fracture. Sometimes to the point where things don't heal, and we either have to go back in or we have to consider some non-operative treatments to fix that. Absolutely, if you add in both diabetes and smoking, you suddenly have a wound that's much more difficult to heal. And we sometimes have to kind of talk to people about nutrition and diabetic control, because there are certain numbers, generally around 180 for your blood glucose, where if you're too much above that, you really cannot heal. Wow. That wound. And so sometimes the first thing we have to do with any type of diabetic wound is more have a conversation about food and nutrition and getting that under control first before we can really address the orthopedic issue.
Again, just a conversation that shows how, like, I don't know, the word's not smart, but like how knowledgeable you are about this stuff. You. It's so much more than just the bones or the joints or it's a holistic approach. Funny enough, Brett Crabtree jumping into the chat saying, "Hey guys, I'll be in to see Dr. Arnold later this afternoon." So good job by Brett. Yeah. But okay, so as far as being an orthopedic surgeon, what are some of the orthopedic issues that people you mentioned, like foot and ankle, but what are some of the main challenges that you see from the community? What do you run into a lot in the community?
I would say the biggest issue is actually the resources after seeing.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the ability to get into physical therapy and get it paid for by insurance. Not everyone's insurance will cover physical therapy, and the copays themselves can be quite expensive. But if you don't have any insurance coverage for the physical therapy, right, it can be financially incompatible with proceeding with that. And the physical therapy is something that can take 6 weeks, 3 months. And if you're going twice a week, that can be a substantial financial commitment. Sometimes it is the ability to comply with non-weight bearing, because if you are the sole provider in your family and it's the right foot and you can't drive, you're going to have a hard time not still taking care of your family or whatnot. And so I have a number of patients who need to be able to drive so that they can take their family members to wherever they need to go and kids to school and whatnot. And so they really cannot comply with the non-weight bearing. And so there's a lot of the social aspects that we have to address also whenever we're coming up with a treatment plan.
Wow. I wouldn't have even considered that. All right. Well, so in studio with us from High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas, we've got Miss Angie Sowers and Dr. Wendy Patton. We're going to take a quick break and be back on the other side with more. You are listening to The Starting Lineup. This is ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester, or check out everything they offer online at ReliableRentalFC.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
Whether you need a quick fix or you got a full-on project, the team at Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware has you covered. From electrical and plumbing supplies to Makita power tools, Benjamin Moore paints, lawn and garden gear, and dependable appliances. They carry the brands you trust with service that treats you like family. Serving Franklin County for over 35 years, they're your local hardware experts and proud supporters of Franklin County sports. Located on Sharp Springs Road in Winchester and online at poultryelectric.com.
Are you struggling to get real impact from your marketing dollars? That's because most local advertising is sold short term with no strategy behind it. At ESPN Radio Winchester, we don't just run ads, we build marketing plans. We focus on consistency and alignment across platforms and long-term visibility that keeps working even when your ad isn't playing. Because marketing isn't a project, it's a system. Start building your brand with ESPN Radio, 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester.
It's time for a local news break from the 931 GO News Center.
South Middle School has announced Cale Thompson as its new head football coach. In an online statement, Coach Thompson expressed gratitude to Dr. Brewer, Dr. Dawson, and the school's administration for the opportunity. He said he is extremely grateful and excited for this next chapter in his family's life and looks forward to continuing South Middle School's proud tradition of excellence, not only on the field, but in the classroom as well. School officials say they are excited to see the program move forward under his leadership. Meanwhile, the Franklin County Board of Education has begun early work on the fiscal year 2027 budget, reviewing a needs list that would require an additional $4.9 million in revenue. The initial draft increases general appropriations from $56.2 million to $61.1 million. Director of Schools Dr. Carrie Holman cited several major expenses, including athletic field upgrades, roofing projects, and mandated teacher salary increases tied to Governor Bill Lee's Teacher Paycheck Protection Act. The proposed budget also includes steep increases, degree advancements, a 3.5% raise for employees, and a 5% increase in health insurance funding. Incoming Director Dr. Roger Alsop noted that final state revenue numbers remain uncertain, making the budget a work in progress. Board members discussed whether to draw from the district's $8.9 million reserve fund or request additional funding from the County Commission. In Tullahoma, the Airport Authority has voted to restart its search for an airport manager. Chairman Carlos Smith said the position will be reposted for approximately 2 weeks, following a stalled hiring recommendation. The authority will work with the city's Human Resources Department and may revisit its agreement with the city regarding approval of authority for the position. For more local updates, visit 931go.com. Stay informed and stay connected to your community with ESPN Radio Winchester.
When it comes to caring for your loved ones, choose a name you can trust. Inhabit Home Health in Winchester, located at 2068 Cowan Highway. We're here to provide compassionate professional care right in the comfort of your own home. From skilled nursing to therapy services, our team is dedicated to helping you or your loved ones achieve the best quality of life. Call Inhabit Home Health today at 931-967-0633 to learn more about our personalized care plans.
This segment of the starting lineup is brought to you by the Furniture Merchandise Outlet in Tullahoma. Tune into the starting lineup with the FMO Facebook feed every weekday. Now, back to Joe and Chewy.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio, 1340, 1069 WCDT Winchester. And, I encourage you to get in on the FMO Facebook feed. And, oh, by the way, when you head over to the Facebook page, scroll down a little ways. I've got to repost it or pin it to the top or something. But March Madness is here. So I encourage you to get into the ESPN Radio Winchester Bracket Challenge where you can compete against us and maybe win some bragging rights. I don't know. We'll see. In studio with us from High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas, we've got Miss Angie Sowers along with Dr. Wendy Patton. And Dr. Patton, this has been a pretty big week for you. You just mentioned there in the break that you have clinic starting. Today is your first day of clinic, and then you've got surgeries starting on Wednesday. So you're jumping right into it.
Jumping right in, absolutely.
When did you actually get over to Hypo, make that transition?
March 2nd.
Okay,
yeah,
wow.
So it's been 2 weeks.
Just a couple of weeks to
Yes.
get orientated. And
We don't let grass grow under our
Oh,
best
no.
friend. We're in it to win it. Let's go.
So one of the questions that I had for you is, what are some of the most common issues that you see as is it like an orthopedist or orthopedic surgeon or what?
Both
Okay,
are
okay.
completely correct.
What are some of the most common issues that you see?
Yeah, so actually it tends to be the non-operative things, plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendonitis, ankle sprains, the vast majority of which, almost 90%, are treated completely non-operatively. Generally, we evaluate. They may go through a course of immobilization, like a boot or something like that, so
Right.
you can walk in. And then once the initial inflammation and acute pain has resolved, then a dedicated course of physical therapy. And most of the time, people are back to their normal activities in 6 weeks to 3 months.
Okay, so if I kick Chewy in the butt, 6 weeks.
Why are you just picking on Chewy this morning? Poor
Sorry,
Chewy.
he's just got some aggression.
Oh, my goodness.
With all of that, they might need to see Dr. Crabtree.
Yeah, that's true. Rectal removal.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so but as far as common issues, one of the things that comes to mind are things like ankle sprains.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember years ago, it's probably been 10 years ago or so, I had the most brutal sprained ankle. And I could have sworn that I totally broke it and all the things, and I didn't. It was just a sprain. X-rays came back negative, all the things. But that being said, what actually is a sprained ankle? from like the way that the body works side of things, and then B, are sprained ankles something that you can just like wrap up and immobilize, or is it something that you should get surgery on or could consider? Talk a little bit about that, because I feel
Absolutely.
like whether it's athletes or folks who are getting out there working in the yard, maybe they step in a gopher hole or something like that. That's one thing that maybe you run into fairly commonly.
Absolutely. It's one of the most common things that I see. And very basically, an ankle sprain, there are approximately 5 main ligaments that hold the ankle stable, limiting how much it goes inside, outside, up and down, and rotates.
Yeah.
And an ankle sprain is when any of those ligaments have been stretched or torn.
Oh, wow.
So they kind of range. We have, a grade 1 sprain, which is, something has been irritated, maybe stretched, but everything is stable, all the way up to a grade 4, which may include all of the ligaments having been torn, or even a potential fragment of bone being pulled off with it.
Wow.
And then it's frankly unstable. So in that range, the treatment, of course, is going to change. So if it's something that is not unstable, sometimes just an ankle brace, rest, ice, elevation, limiting activities for a few weeks, and gradually returning back to normal activities when symptoms have resolved will be sufficient. Sometimes if you have a grade 2 or 3 and things are very painful, there's a little bony fragment, there's obvious instability, then we're looking at a course of immobilization in a boot or something to a similar type of treatment, and then they may need some dedicated physical therapy afterwards. 90% of the time, that's going to be perfectly fine in getting most of it to heal up. You may have some scar tissue and stiffness afterwards, but back to normal activities.
Right.
But in about 10%, the ligaments never fully heal, the ankle stays unstable, and then we do consider, surgically going in and tightening everything up.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've heard, a term that I've heard used a lot in athletics, is like a high ankle sprain.
Mhm.
What is a high ankle sprain?
So what they're talking about is actually the ligament that holds the 2 bones in the lower leg together. So you have 2 bones, your main weight-bearing bone and a skinny bone off to the side. That's the tibia, and then the fibula on the side. The fibula helps restrain on rotation and front to back movement. And if that ligament is torn, it can go kind of all the way up the leg, and you can have an unstable joint also near the knee.
Oh, wow.
So those are more common in kind of higher energy injuries. So more common in athletes.
Yeah.
And sometimes those high ankle sprains, because they are so unstable and they affect both joints, we may need to do those surgically and fix those earlier so that they can get back to the level of athletics that they want to get back to.
Not hearing it be described, now I understand why they keep athletes out for such a long time, or why they're so like touch and go. My next question for you is in regard to you and Dr. Arnold. You guys obviously do different things. Why might somebody see you versus him, or him versus you?
Absolutely. So my specialty is the foot and ankle, and also like diabetic wounds. Dr. Arnold does a lot more sports and joints.
Okay.
He loves the upper extremity, shoulder joints, hip and knee joints. And so it's kind of a nice melding where together we can cover essentially everything.
Yeah.
He doesn't really touch diabetic wounds. I don't really touch total joints, except for the ankle, which I will replace also. But otherwise, we're really able to provide orthopedic care for any patient. And so, essentially any orthopedic issue can come to our office and kind of figure out what direction we need to go. If it's something that's going to be treated non-operatively, we'll take that through the course. If it turns out it's something that does need surgery, but it's not something that me or Dr. Arnold will take care of, then we can refer them to the correct place and get them there.
That's tremendous. And, Ms. Angie, we talked a little bit about the fact that you guys are working with the school, with the sports teams going forward. You guys are going to be providing trainers and other things like that to the school. And with this next year coming up here, it's crazy to think. We're almost to graduation time, right? But with all that, you guys are going to be doing physicals, and you're going to also be able to help folks out if they've got a sports injury, whatever the case. They might be coming in to see Dr. Wendy. I call you Dr. Wendy, Dr. Patton.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine.
That's a Southern thing that I learned when I assimilated. But all that being said, if they've got a young one like you did, Miss Angie, in the athletic side of things, you guys can both help them out from the beginning with those physicals all the way through to if they have an issue.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So we're always helpful, glad to help with the schools doing the sports physicals. We will be, doing those again this year. Next upcoming school year. And I've reached out to the athletic director of the county. So we're going to try to do all of the physicals, not, just for the high schools, but, we're we're trying to do some work with even, help Motlow State Community College. If, University of the South needs us for their athletes, because, some of those students are not home, but they're here. And, again, it's having quick access. Dr. Patton, Dr. Arnold, they know about, getting in the athletes as quick as they can. I, again, speak on Dawson. He had shoulder surgery with Dr. Arnold, and he got him in and got him taken care of, and our outpatient therapy team did a tremendous job cutting about 3 months off of his rehab time and got him back in a lot sooner than they had anticipated, and he was ready to go. So, super excited. We want folks to know that, there's really... there's going to be those, like Dr. Wendy said, those times where she or Dr. Arnold may not can handle exactly what it is, but I feel like for a good portion of it, they will be able to handle, like she said, most orthopedic patients, and it's a tremendous burden on families to have to drive to Franklin or Nashville or Huntsville or all these things.
Right.
And so when you have great resources right there at your fingertips, it just makes sense, right, to take advantage of them. And so that's again why we're super excited, because they are going to be able to complement each other very well in the orthopedic clinic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to also give the number for anybody out there, because I know Maggie, if she's listening out of her meeting now, she will appreciate me giving the number, because I got to do my due diligence. But for folks who are not aware where the clinic is, it is out on the Deckard Road, right by the co-op, right behind the new Planet Fitness, and our outpatient therapy department is right there next to them. So that makes very convenient. You can walk right out of their office and take your therapy orders right next door. But if you did need to make an appointment at our orthopedic clinic for either Dr. Patton or Dr. Arnold, that number is 962-2272, and that is to the number to the orthopedic clinic.
And if you go to High Point Health, the website, the highpointhealthpartners.com, and go to their orthopedic and sports medicine page, I believe it's, there you are.
Yep.
It's already got you listed.
Yep. She's on there.
Dr. Wendy Patton, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you so
this
much
morning.
for having me.
And before I let you guys go, is there anything else that you want to get out there and make sure that people are aware of?
Yes, one other thing that Maggie instructed me again.
Yes.
She keeps me in line. So next Thursday, we are having our annual Easter egg hunt. We do this for the kids. We have it out there on the front lawn of the hospital down the hill. There's multiple age groups so that we keep the little ones with the little
Separated
ones
from
and
Chewy.
the big ones from the big ones, and then Chewy has his own category. So
they put me up past the senior center.
That's right. That's right.
I get the prize egg.
We do have gold eggs for
go.
the categories and with some little prizes, but the event starts at 5, and then the actual Easter egg hunt will start around 5:15. We get everybody kind of lined up and give them the instructions of when to go time.
That's
and
in
the
the
kids,
evening, right?
Yeah, it starts at 5, and they just love it. This is a big event for us every year when we have stuff out on the front lawn of the hospital, and the kids just love it. But I think Maggie orders something like 5,000-6,000 eggs, and it is amazing to me how
gosh.
quick they go. It's I mean, they're out there just
you got 60 seconds.
just grabbing them. So hopefully we don't have anyone out there like in the Chewy category doing the tuck and rolls out there,
pushing kids down.
Yeah, pushing kids down,
kids.
fighting for eggs. But if there are any injuries, we have orthopedic coverage on standby.
There you go. That's perfect.
I'll be there. Just come and find me.
So we got you covered.
Well, Dr. Wendy, thank you so much for coming in this morning. Welcome to Winchester, and we're glad to have you over at High Point Health as one of the new partners.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
We got one last question here from the chat.
Yep.
Jonathan Smith wants to know, what about treatments for Joe's sore muscles?
I'm not sore. I'm good to go.
Oh, okay. So he's fine. So, okay, Jonathan, thank you for your consideration.
Yeah,
but, I think
Hey, no,
he'll be
I
all
don't
right.
got time to be sore, okay? I got to get bigger.
Yoga.
Yeah,
Yoga.
sure.
Some Pilates.
Katie is my wife is super flexible. Chewy's super flexible. Everybody says I need to get and what was the thing that we're talking about doing with the library?
Tai Chi.
Tai Chi, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even touch my toes. What are we talking about here?
Listen, I mean, athletes forget that you have to be flexible.
Yeah.
You can bulk muscles, but they have to be flexible too, because then you're more prone to injuries. So,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
super prone.
Yeah, so
I'm not.
Let me put my plug in there.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Well, thank you both so much for coming in this morning. We appreciate you guys. It was a great conversation. And like I said, we're excited to have you. Miss Angie, it's always tremendous to see you as well. Tell Miss Maggie that we missed her. And we'll be back on the other side, guys, to wrap things up. This is the starting lineup. You're listening to ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a fifth-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester or check out everything they offer online at ReliableRentalFC.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
When life hits you hard, you need someone who will stand up and fight back for you. Andy Davis, attorney at law, serves Southern Middle Tennessee in personal injury, criminal defense, family law, bankruptcy, and more. Call today to set up your free consultation, where you'll get clear answers, honest guidance, and a plan built around your needs. Online at southerninjurylaw.com. This is an advertisement. Andy Davis, attorney at law, responsible for content. No representation is made that the quality of legal services is greater than that of other lawyers.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester. Joe Abraham alongside Chewy. And we're going to make a quick phone call out now to the big dog against Chewy's wishes. I got to say thank you again to Miss Angie and Dr. Wendy Patton. As she was going out, Dr. Patton was giving me tips on flexibility and how how the two coordinate. And she was telling me that I can get even more jacked and flexible if I do certain things. So giving me some tips on the way out the door. Just for me, though. Not for you guys. I can't give you my secret tips that I earned. Got to get more jacked. Jonathan Smith says, what about treatment for Joe's sore muscles? Take more creatine. That's my treatment. Did he not answer?
You've reached the voicemail of Tom Abraham.
Of course we did. This guy.
We'll call again in just a second.
No.
Or you're not going to give him another chance, or
he
you want
missed
to keep
out.
going?
He missed out. All
right.
We'll get him. Maybe we'll get him tomorrow. I was gonna try and get the big dog in here to talk about Dylan Nutt, the Nutcracker. Whoa!
What
was
happened?
That? I think that was my microphone. There's so many. There's so many funny. So many funny things that you could. So many jokes. But it's tough to be to joke about that. He's from Middle Tennessee. B, he won the Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive thing. I mean, it's just the thought process of how serious some of these guys take this.
Yeah,
it's not even a joke anymore. It's not just for fun. These guys are serious professionals.
He's 22 years old. 22-year-old senior at UNA from Nashville who fished some tournaments with our local club, the South Central Tennessee Bass Nation. First national winner since 1994. I don't know what that means. Punched his ticket to the elites in 27. Yeah. Also, want to say send prayers out for Jake Davis, who continues to recover. We were going to have Jake on last week to not only talk about the youth fishing tournament, but also preview the Bassmaster Classic. And he texted me the morning he was supposed to be on and said, I can't make it today. I got to have bypass surgery. Guy had a triple bypass.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so poor guy missed the Classic and everything. He was supposed to leave on Tuesday to go to the Classic. And missed it. Had to watch it on TV from his hospital room. And, of course, we get a guy, one of our guys, basically wins it. And Jake is very familiar with Dylan Nutt. So as we wrap things up, I do want to encourage you, go over to the ESPN Winchester Facebook page and get in on the ESPN Radio Winchester Bracket Challenge. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to have Handsome Rob in studio. Chewy needs to pick his bracket today, as do I, because tomorrow on the show, we're going to go through some of our pickages with Handsome Rob.
Okay.
And the timeline as far as the bracket challenge goes, let me see here, because I was just looking at it. You've got 3 days, 2 hours, and 14 minutes, which means that you got some time. So tomorrow on the show, I encourage you to tune in. We'll give you maybe some tips as far as the tournament goes. For those who are wondering, yes, I came in 11th last year, Chewy, in our bracket challenge, but I did have Florida to win.
Yeah.
And I usually do pretty good in these things. 11th was okay.
All right.
I plan on coming in first this year, so there's that.
Okay. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Start the bracket challenge, and we'll get started.
It's a race for second. All right. That'll do it for today's show. Coming up later on the afternoon hand up. Where's Johnny at? Johnny! Oh, Johnny's outside. I was going to ask him who he's got on the show today, but he's outside. Well, coming up next, it is Reliable Rentals Swap and Shop with Chewy. We appreciate you guys tuning in for a Mayhem Money. Mayhem Money.
There you go.
I need some Mayhem Money.
Brett says he's going to jump in, so I think you've got some competition.
All right. Let's go. I'm here for it. It is ESPN Radio 1340, 106.9, WCDT Winchester.
And, Devin, that is the production of the red carpet. Like, the way